Hey, you guys, it's me, Kiana, coming at you again today, and I am coming at you, giving you a video on, um, well, something that I did not talk about yet, um, something that I wasn't sure if I would talk about. Even when we are remaining focused, even when we are walking on the path that we know we're supposed to be on, even though we have thick skin, even though we don't wear our heart on our sleeve, even though we're confident in Christ and ourselves, even though all of these things are true, who wants to hear a bunch of negativity? It's not something on your list that you look forward to. So when we have situations that arise that we know is going to bring forth much negativity, we try to avoid it. That's like the normal thing to do. So, I am not exempt from that. However, um, in remaining true to myself and being here on here for a purpose and not just for carnal reasons, um, and wanting to share with you guys because I do consider you guys my friends and I do consider you guys family and I am close to you guys. So, um, sometimes you just want to talk to your girls. Sometimes you just want to, let it all out. It's for yourself. It's great therapy. It also makes you face some issues that maybe you have swept underneath the carpet. It bring forth thought, a thought-provoking issue. Um, it brings forth um, your truth and your honesty. May bring someone else's truth and honesty out of them. It may make you reevaluate yourself as well as the person that's listening. So it's a win-win situation, and it definitely outweighs the good outweighs the bad. Okay, so I wanted to share this as I do all things with a purpose. Some will get it, some won't. But if one gets it, if one understands, then it's all good because above everything else, I remain true to myself. I remain true to my purpose on here. And also, it felt good to let it out. It felt good to let it out. And also, I was able to face some things myself by getting it out. That's what this forum does for me. Um, and that's why when people have questioned over the past 2 years why I share, that is why I share. That is one real major reason why I share. Because it helps me as well. Um, what I didn't tell you guys about the cruise and what I think many don't talk about, and not only many don't talk about, some people don't even know, um, is that if you are overweight, if you are out of shape, if you are obese, super obese, morbidly obese, whatever way you want to word it, if you are any of those things, you will feel it. Okay? Now, I can only speak of traveling abroad, not just state to state. I'm talking about traveling, you know, nowhere near home. You know, traveling to Bermuda and traveling the way of or by way of cruise. I cannot tell you any other traveling. I can't speak on that. All I can do is speak on what I know. Um, and if you haven't traveled like that, then you wouldn't know. You only know what someone told you or what you think you can handle or think that you would endure. But I'm telling you from somebody that did endure, someone who did have to push forward, and someone that felt it. Okay. Now, in my everyday life, no, I don't get a lot of exercise. That's just reality. Should we all exercise? Of course we should. Just like we all should eat right. Just like we all should stay away from processed foods. We all should stay away from fast food. But yet, us as Americans, we love those things. We are drawn to those things. And given the fact that our obesity rate is the way it is, it's obviously somebody out there not exercising as much as they should. It's obviously somebody out there that is eating processed foods. It's obviously somebody out there that run to McDonald's, KFC, Taco Bell, and all the rest of them quite often. Because A, these things wouldn't be around. B, the studies wouldn't reflect what they actually do, which is the obesity rate is ridiculous and skyrocketing every day. So, that somebody may be some of you watching. So, I'm not going to sit here and um, think that I'm alone. I'm not going to sit here and think that I am so rare or so special that I'm the only one that will have to endure this. Um, so I'm telling you some things that people don't usually talk about for whatever reasons. They may be embarrassed or they may just don't feel a need to talk about it. But me, I feel a need to talk about it. You all know I am a research fanatic. And when I was researching about taking this cruise to Bermuda, I researched a lot of stuff on so many different areas. And in researching, I found nothing about this. So this is something that I am opening up, and yes, I am being vulnerable and opening myself up, but I'm doing so that you guys will know something that um, maybe you didn't know, or maybe you think about and haven't had to answer. Because let's face it, when you're overweight, you guys, we think about or we think ahead when we are about to embark on something or go somewhere. We think about the cheers, if they'll hold us. Come on, big girls, don't leave me out here alone. Can I get an amen? We think about if we think about you know if the beds will fall when we lay on it. uh we position our body. We don't just plop down on stuff. Our mothers taught us you don't plop down on nothing. You sit halfway on it, make your knees support you, just in case you fall, you can get right back up. You won't fall all the way down that floor. So when we sit on the bed, we're gonna sit on the end and then scoot back a little bit and see if that feels right, and then scoot back a little bit more. But these are things that we think of. So, but these are things that people don't want to talk about that they think of, and they're sure not going to tell you the outcome of that thought once they've embarked on something. So, I'm going to tell you some of my worries before I went on the cruise. Some of my worries, and sometimes the devil will be in your ear and tell you all kinds of things. But sometimes they are legitimate worries. They're not irrational worries. They're worries that we have to endure, worries that we have to have on our mind because we are overweight, because we are obese. Um, and some of the things that was running through my mind that I couldn't get answers to, and I had to just do it. I had to do it. No one could answer the question. No one would tell or reveal. I tried, I looked, I searched, but I'm revealing, I'm telling. Some of the things that I thought about was, will the deck chairs hold me? You know those old school deck chairs, the lawn chairs that you could lay out? Well, I know daggone well they can't hold me. But I was equating that or those chairs with the ones that I saw on all the videos for the cruise line. And I was scared and afraid that they wouldn't hold me. One of my fears was sitting on it, scooting back, and plopping in the floor in front of everybody. And knowing that we're in the age of Big Brother, and knowing that I had every kind of camera, so I know everybody else did, I was sure that somebody was going to take a video or a picture of it. So that was a worry of mine. Another worry of mine was, would the bed hold me? And even when I talk, and when people see my body shots or my outfit of the day, they like, the way you talk, I would think that you was about 800 pounds. And it's not that I think I'm 800 pounds. It's just that I know I'm a big girl. And I know that this world is not made to fit me. And with knowing that, I am always aware. See, when you're a big girl, um, you are always overly aware of your surroundings. We can walk into a place and we're going to make sure we scope out that place to make sure that we know where it is that we can sit down if we had to. We're going to scope out the place to make sure that the armchair, the armrest on the chair is wide enough for our wide hips. You know, these are things that the average person don't have to worry about. They can just go into a place and just be carefree. We're on, always on when we go in a place. We're always scoping. We're always pre-planning. Even when it doesn't look like we are, we are. That's one of the things that come along with living in this society or this world that is not made for a person this size. And I'm not saying that as if it should be made, even though it's a lot of us out there like that, so it should be some accommodations made, and they have. They have had accommodations made compared to like the 70s and the early 80s. There has been a lot of accommodations been made because they know that we as a society have gotten bigger together. But not everywhere is going to have those accommodations. Not everywhere and not every place is going to think of us. So these are things that we think of. Um, Another thing I thought of was I can see how massive the ships were and the ships are. So I was thinking, wow, will I be able to walk that entire cruise ship, which is several football fields long? Yes, that big. Will I be able to walk that several times a day, all day long, all hours of the day, for 6 or 7 days straight? Will I be able to do that? Will my body actually be able to do that? And the question is, or the answer is, you will feel it. The answer is, your body will reflect all that is enduring to do that. As for me, my body felt it from head to toe. My ankles swelled, my feet swelled, my legs were extremely sore, my thigh muscles were aching. But around the fourth day, because I did this constantly, back and forth, on the boat, off the boat, on excursions, off excursions, sightseeing, souvenir shopping, regular shopping, going up and down the steps, going down the steps, going on the elevator, going out of the elevator, going to customer service, going up to another floor. I did that constantly, constantly. And I felt it. But around, like I said, the fourth day, because I had did it over and over and over again, it started easing up. However, the swelling of my ankles did not go down. The swelling of my feet did not go down. And they were huge. My ankles were huge, you guys. But I turned that into a personal challenge to myself. For one, I didn't want to let my daughter down because this was for her. This was her birthday gift to her. And this was my birthday gift to her, I meant. And I wanted her to be able to explore and to experience all that Bermuda had to offer. And I didn't want to stand in that way. I didn't want fat to stand in the way. So if I had to have ankles as big as my head, I was going to force myself. I was going to push myself. And again, I turned it into a personal challenge for myself. Um, I also thought about that cruise helped change my thoughts because, as you all know, I am about to embark on having gastric sleeve. And I vowed to myself that that cruise will be the last time that I struggle in that way. And although I have some things planned for the end of the year, being that I have to, whether I want to or not, I have to in order to have the surgery, in order to shrink my liver, in order to um, meet the doctor's requirements and needs. I have to go on a weight loss journey before the surgery. Even if I lose a little, I still won't have to struggle like I did when I went to Bermuda. And I vowed that day on that cruise that I will not return in the condition and in the way that I came when I went to Bermuda on August the 31st. I vowed that to myself. On that cruise ship, a lot of things, you guys, came to me. Not only I was thankful for the fact that God had brought me through, and the fact that just 3 years ago, you guys, as you all know, I was in a homeless shelter, not knowing if I was going to make it or if my son was going to make it that was in my belly. Not knowing any of these things. Not knowing where I was going to turn to. Not knowing that if housing didn't come through and Section 8 didn't come through, I didn't know where I was going to go. Although I had the wits and the smarts and even the education, I still did not know where I was going to turn because I had reached a level that I had never reached before. And it was either wallow in that, it was either let that beat me, it was either not pick myself up and not trust and have faith in God and His purpose for my life. It was either that or move forward, brush my shoulders off and square those shoulders and just keep going and keep pushing and keep striving and keep putting Him first and keep believing. That same faith that I had then is the same faith I have to have now with this weight loss. The same faith. But the beautiful thing is that the same way that He brought me through then, I know He can bring me through this time. How do I know? Because I have the awesome testimony of the fact that I've seen Him personally in my life do it once before. So therefore, since He did it once before, I know it can be done. I know it will be done. And He'll do it again. So not only those things came full circle for me, and that's why I was very thankful. That's why I was very grateful because I was able to sit and have peace and stillness to think about things like that. Even though I think about them every day, it was just a new level of silence and reflection that I didn't normally have because throughout the day you're so busy. We're so busy. We're moms, we're wives, we're business owners. You work and all of these things. So sometimes we don't have time to really, really reflect. And there, I spent a lot of time doing that. So not only that was a factor, but this was the first time that I was able to stand in a room with mirrors all around me. And I saw all those mirrors around me in my room, the privacy of my room. And it hit me then. After physically seeing what my body had went through, trying to do all that I was doing and seeing my body's reaction to it, but also seeing myself every angle in that mirror seeing every part of me. It hit me. It hit me. It hit me as I was looking at all of the older people around me having no problem getting around. It hit me when I would look on the deck and I would be laying out, relaxing, with my sunscreen on, my fly shades, and I would see a person that was about 62 years old, 63 years old, running around the whole cruise ship on their little track. It hit me when I saw so many doing so much and they didn't struggle, they didn't huff, they didn't puff, they didn't have to stop for a rest or a seat. It hit me. And as it hit me, I knew that that was confirmation for me. And this is why I'm sharing it. This is why I'm sharing something so personal, so intimate. This is why I'm sharing, because not only nobody talks about this, not only there are some people out there that may attempt to go on a cruise and don't know that the ramp is so steep that they have to zigzag it. And although it's zigzagged, you will feel it, every bit of it, to get onto the cruise ship. Although people don't tell you that going up the ramp, they may have to take a break. And people behind them, you may have to move to the side. Yeah. They're not going to tell you these things. But I'm telling you because I want you to know. I want you to be prepared. I want you to make arrangements accordingly. And I want you to know what actually was confirmation for me. See, I got on the ship and already knew that I was going to have the surgery. I already knew that I was blessed with the surgeon actually giving me a deal because of, the fact that I was going to mention it on my channel and do a review on it and share my experience, which of course by me sharing my experience is going to mention his name. That's just natural. People are going to ask, well, who was your surgeon and where did you go? That's just natural. um and although I'm going to share my ups and my downs, my pros and my cons, I am blessed because that opportunity came knocking at my door. So I already knew getting onto the ship what I was going to do, when I was going to do it. December the 10th was already scheduled, not only in my mind, but also with the doctor and the coordinator. But with anything, especially with something that's big and major, you're going to have doubts. You're going to have concerns. Even if you researched it, even if you know the pros and cons, even though if you're the smartest person or you think you're the smartest person, you still are going to have these thoughts in your head that maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should try another avenue. Maybe you should reconsider. But experiencing what I experienced in Bermuda, and although I had a wonderful, wonderful time, and it was breathtaking, you guys, it was literally like walking into a storybook. Literally, from where I was to be there, it was literally like a little piece of heaven on earth. But so much came to me, so many revelations, and so much confirmation came and was given to me through that cruise. And that sealed the deal for me. That sealed the deal for me. So, can you experience a cruise with being overweight? Yes, you can. Can you experience all the things that the cruise has to offer? Sure, you can. Will your body feel it? It sure will. Will you have to push yourself? Yes, you will. Now, you do have the option of staying on the cruise ship. The port is beautiful. You could see almost any and everything from your cruise ship because it's up so high. and the island isn't what's so big. It's only 65,000 people live there. So it's not what's so big. Um, but I wanted to push myself, not only for myself, but as a mother. And mothers out there can understand. Fathers out there can understand. I wanted to push myself for my daughter as well. I didn't want fat to stop her from experiencing, from having a mom that was going to experience with her. So I pushed. And it was hard, but I pushed. And now that I'm home, I intend on using that same method that I pushed for her before while I was on the cruise ship. I'm going to use that same way of thinking, that same mindset. I'm going to push through this journey of battling this fat and battling this obese demon. I'm going to push. And if I have to use 5 tools, 6 tools, 10 tools, I'm going to use whatever tool I have to use to beat it. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. Again, this is not to discourage you from going on a cruise, because everything I've said was to encourage you to do it. To encourage you to, whatever that thing is that you wanted to do, whatever that thing is that you thought you couldn't do, go for it and do it. But all the while, I want you to be aware that you will feel it, but you can do it. You can do it. I am a living testimony to that. And if I can do it at my size, and a lot of y'all are about 60, 70, 80 pounds lighter than me, if I can do it, then it can be done. On that note, you guys, I love you all so much. Talk to you guys later. I thank you for loving me. I thank you for encouraging me. I thank you for supporting me. I thank you for being family to me. And I thank you for letting me express myself and what I go through in my life with you, without judgment, without negativity, without silliness and childishness. I thank you guys for being grown-ups. And for, even if you can't sympathize, you can empathize. So on that note, you guys, I love you all so much. Talk to you guys later, and be blessed.